On your side with just how much you can expect over the coming days.
And we take a look at some of the high temperatures recorded in central Alabama for the month of February.
Plus, we go beyond the atmosphere where a new study reveals the effects of space pollution.
WBRC Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
And thank you for staying with us for First Alert Weather Extra. Still enjoying some of these milder temperatures, but tomorrow night got a little rain to talk about.
Oh yeah, it's on its way, but at least we aren't looking at a severe threat for tomorrow night. That's always good as we get closer to the spring months.
And it's not a complete washout either, so people can still enjoy their days. There still will be some breaks between that wet weather. Yeah,
we're going to be watching next week. There's a system out there that's really grabbed our attention. We'll talk about that coming up. Right now, I want to show you the next big thing here as we go to, first off, that system we're telling you about tomorrow night will bring some rain. You can see right now we're at 68 in Tuscaloosa. We're at 65 in Birmingham, 64 degrees at Jasper, and 63 degrees at Chelsea. There have been some clouds moving overhead. It's going to become windy. That's one thing I want to make sure you're ready for tomorrow. It's going to be a very breezy day, so pack the extra hairspray there early tomorrow morning. That wind's going to pick up out of the south and could gust over 15 miles per hour, but it is kind of breezy already here on Red Mountain tonight. Temperatures, though, really not a huge drop off here. At last check, we're still seeing quite a few 60s there on the map, but the next big thing for us, we have rain coming back tomorrow night, possibly a thunderstorm, but as Lauren and Tania mentioned, we're not really seeing a risk for severe weather with this particular setup. It's just mostly a lot of rain that's going to be coming in here for tomorrow night, and then this is all going to clear out as we go into the day on Friday. So that's going to leave us with some nice weather just in time for the weekend. I put together a timing map just to show you some general time frames when to I wouldn't leave the house without the umbrella. You can see starting around 5 o'clock to the northwest tomorrow, maybe some showers. And this is all going to start out with a few scattered showers in the evening, but then there's going to be a band of heavier rain that's going to move in later tomorrow night. I also want to mention this. This is next week, and this is some of the new analog-based forecast guidance just to show you we're going to have to watch out for a risk of storms around the 28th and 29th, especially for areas back to the west, watching a system that could come into play there towards the middle to end of next week. So that's going to be the next system we're going to show you. That's coming up right here on Weather Extra. We'll break into it coming up in the Beyond the 7-Day Forecast.
And, you know, we have been seeing today some really beautiful spring-like weather, but what you may have also been noticing across central Alabama, it's been a little hazy out there today. Well, we have some wildfires and prescribed burns across the state that have been contributing to that haze. We also have high pressure and control of the weather pattern. I wanted to show you some of the areas across central Alabama where we do have some of those wildfires in place. Maybe a little hard to see on your screen, but where you notice there's a red circle around some of these fires. That means that's an area where that fire is contained, but we could still be seeing some hazy conditions even as we go in tomorrow. So we're under that little bubble of high pressure, and we've also been having winds coming in, generally those southerly winds. So that's helping as well to contribute to the hazy skies we've been seeing. So here we go into tonight. You see those southerly winds continue, and so any fires that are to our south, let's say you live in Birmingham or Tuscaloosa, any fires to the south would be helping that wildfire smoke, or even the smoke from prescribed burns lifting a little farther to the north. So we're still going to have to deal with that even as moisture increases for tomorrow. But the deal is we do eventually get that rain coming in tomorrow night. But this is the time of the year when we often see a lot of prescribed burns happening. So don't be surprised if we are showing you the smoke forecast more and more in the days to come. But in the spirit of springtime vibes running high this week, meteorologists Matt Daniel and Mickey Ferguson join us now with some of the hottest days we've seen in previous Februaries.
Loving the weather, Mickey.
Yeah, I'm getting spoiled. I'm getting really spoiled with this stuff.
Spring fever by any chance?
Yes, I have, and I just know there's probably one little more cold snap out there somewhere.
I'm sure. You know, we usually get some cold snaps in March, even early April sometimes. But just looking at some of the records, you know, these are some of the highest or the warmest temperatures recorded in the month of February in Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, and Anniston. In case you're curious.
Ever?
On record.
Oh,
on record.
Yeah, okay. So 2018, last few years were pretty toasty in the Ham and in T-Town.
Yeah, 86 was the warmest high temperature
That's
recorded
crazy
in
warm.
Tuscaloosa. 84 in Anniston, 83 in Birmingham. And you know, last year, I was looking at the high temperatures from last year. A lot of spots last year got about a degree or two close to this.
I can't remember
but we didn't actually tie or break any of those records.
I
So
remember last week.
but the big question is, you know, are we going to get close to that maybe over the next 7 to 10 days?
Well, let's check it out here, Matt. I don't think we'll get quite that warm, but it's more comfortable than hot.
There you go.
Those were like summer-like
A
temperatures.
little toasty there, mid-80s.
These are more like spring-like temperatures.
There you go. So it wouldn't surprise me if middle part of next week we briefly warm up perhaps into the upper 70s, maybe low 80s. So we'll have to see about that. But for the rest of this month, I doubt we're going to get close to that territory for Birmingham. Here's a look at Tuscaloosa's high temperatures over the next 10 days.
They're a little toastier now. They could reach the low 80s going into next Wednesday. Now, you see that drop in temperatures going into Thursday. Could have a little storm system rolling through there at about that time.
That's right, and I'm sure we'll have more of that coming up right here on Extra.
But that's not what we're focused on.
No, we're focused on those temperatures
Yeah.
over the next 10 days for Anniston now.
Anniestown is kind of hanging out in the 70s to 60s too. Some more spring-like temperatures for you over the extended forecast.
So in summary, yeah, it can get pretty warm around here. Low to mid 80s is usually the threshold for February, but doubt we're going to hit that this month. But enjoy the spring-like weather while we have it.
It's getting hot in here, so we probably ought to end it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks, Matt and Mickey. And stay tuned as I further explain how Alabama's winter temperatures are generally trending and what impact it could have on our day-to-day lives.
And taking you now across the country, mudslides in Malibu have forced the Pacific Coast Highway to close in both directions. You can see the rock falls, mud and debris from the hillsides all across the lanes on Wednesday. That's today. As we've been talking about, heavy rains have been drenching Southern California for days, with it just now starting to dry out. The National Weather Service in Los Angeles saying this month has been the area's wettest month in 26 years. So far, almost 13 inches have fallen. And above the atmosphere, the Odie lunar lander is set to land on the moon as soon as tomorrow. We first brought you this story last week as it was preparing to take off, and it's almost there. Odie's mission is to help with future moon landing missions, such as the upcoming Artemis 3. If the mission is successful, it will be the first commercially built craft to ever reach the moon. It's been more than 50 years since the United States landed a spacecraft on the moon. And this also comes as scientists look more into the level of space pollution. In a new study from NOAA, up to 10% of particles in the upper atmosphere contain bits of metal. This comes from rockets or satellites burning up when they fall out of orbit. And with thousands of satellites predicted to launch in the coming years, scientists are concerned about how they will affect the ozone layer. It's also bringing up the point of how growing light pollution could eventually prevent the study of other galaxies. And in 30 seconds, we take another check on radar as well as talk about how much warmer our winters are getting here in Birmingham. Don't go anywhere. First Alert Weather Extra. We'll be right back. Welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. We are staying dry for your Wednesday night. Look at those temperatures right now. I was just outside a couple of minutes ago and I did feel it started to feel a little cooler. So if you have any plans tonight or if you want to go for a walk, it'd be in your best interest to grab that sweater or that hoodie. Look at those temperatures area wide. We're looking at temps in the 60s, areas far to the east in the upper 50s right now. 68 in Tuscaloosa, low 70s still though down in Utah. So if you're in Greene County, you're still enjoying some of those warmer conditions, upper 60s also areas to our west. But look at that 24-hour temperature change. We're definitely a lot warmer right now than we were this time yesterday. About 14 degrees warmer in Walker County, 11 in Winston County, and 11 degrees warmer up in Cherokee. But guess what? We've got warmer weather on the way, but also we have some wetter weather as well. Wes will be talking about that next chance for rain coming up very soon. But though we've been enjoying spring-like temperatures today, certainly have had some cold spells this winter. But that doesn't necessarily mean our winters are turning colder. Meteorologist Lauren Linehan joins us now to show how data suggests our winters are actually getting warmer.
Hey, Tania, yeah, you know, we have been no stranger to cold spells this past winter. And if y'all remember the Christmas before last, we had some extreme pipe bursting cold. But just because we have cold snaps and you can get these cold spells, it doesn't mean they're lasting quite as long as they used to. We actually have some new data in from our friends at Climate Central. And this looks at the past almost 50 years worth of data showing that there are less extreme cold days in Alabama. So if we look at that lowest temperature, those minimum temperatures that you see, generally, instead of having extreme colds during the winter months, these longer stretch of days, we have actually seen warming temperatures instead. So instead of the temperatures being really cold, these stretch of days, we actually here in the Birmingham area have seen about 8.5 days more of warmer temperatures, contributing to less extreme cold each winter. And when we're looking at winter here, we're looking at meteorological winter. So we're looking at December, January, and February. And it's not just here in central Alabama. If we look at data back from the 1970s to 2023 across the U.S., generally in the winter season, there are more warm winter days where you see these red dots plotted on the map here. These represent different temperature stations and the degree below or above average that you see those warmer winter days. And there has especially been a pronounced warming in the southeast during the winter. So that's not to say when you get a cold snap that doesn't mean it's cold. We've certainly seen cold snaps here, but if you look at the trends as a whole across the winter months, generally there has been a warming trend versus a cooler trend. And if we just look at seasons in general, we're talking winter, spring, summer, fall. Winter is the season here in Alabama that we are seeing the fastest warming, and that can have an impact on our day-to-day lives. We're talking about the water supply up areas to the north where you have winter sports. That could have an impact on it as well. So in a warming world, let's break this down. There are still freezing nights. That's not to say that as we see warming temperatures that there's still not going to be freezing nights, but there's just going to be fewer of them. And we're still going to have cold snaps, but generally they're going to be in shorter duration as the earth warms. And you still can get extremely cold days. But the thing is, they're not going to be as cold. So we're always going to give you that little climate extra here on Weather Extra. And coming up, we will take a look beyond the 7-day and the possibility of any severe weather in the forecasts. We'll be right back.
Welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. A nice evening out there. The temperature is not too bad. We're showing 65 here in Birmingham. Live look from Brookwood Baptist Medical Center. Notice the wind south-southeast at 8 miles per hour. That breeze is going to be a factor tonight. And we've got that wind out of the south, as Lauren was noting. It's been transporting some of that smoke from some of those fires happening northward. So it's added a bit of a haze to the atmosphere. 70 in Utah right now. You go further east, we're in the low 60s here at Rockford. We're at 61, Talladega 62, down to 58 at Center. How cold will it be tonight? Well, those temperatures overnight will drop into the mid to upper 40s. So out there early tomorrow morning will be well above freezing, and it's going to be dry for the start of the day. Again, some of these clouds will be moving through overnight tonight, but notice in the morning rain free, and we'll actually enjoy another nice warm up. I want to stop it right here. You can see at 5 o'clock, look at these temperatures, 70s again on the map. We may be up to 72 here, Greensboro, Moundville, Akron. Nice warm up there later in the day, showing 70 here around Coleman. But notice there are some scattered showers. I can't rule out maybe a few showers breaking out, especially northwest areas late afternoon. We'll see a lot of this coming in, though, tomorrow night. You can see those showers possible during the evening. And then there's a cold front that's on the way. That's the next big thing that we're tracking, and that's going to set off a band of heavier rain. There might be a rumble of thunder out of this as this moves south. Now, the one thing tomorrow during the day, notice this wind. I know this is tomorrow night, but it's showing west-southwest at 16 miles per hour. That wind is going to pick up during the day tomorrow. We could see some gusts out there topping 20 miles per hour. So it's going to be a windy Thursday. I know it's going to feel pretty good. Clouds moving in, but just note that it is going to be breezy as we have this next system approaching. And then overnight tomorrow night and into Friday morning, you see that heavier rain sliding to the south, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, Tuscaloosa to Birmingham and over to Gadsden Center, heavy rainfall. And this will exit our southern areas by 5, 6 o'clock Friday morning. So we'll get this out of here just in time for the weekend. But we could end up with over a half-inch of rain in some areas. Look at Centerville there showing over a half-inch, as well as Talladega. So a nice little rain event for tomorrow night. It's really going to come down there for a while as that front makes its way through here. But again, we'll get it out of here just in time for Saturday and Sunday. We've got dry weather for the weekend, 64 degrees there on Saturday, 69 degrees for a high, and actually on Sunday some areas will touch 70 degrees. But with it being so dry, once we get into this sunny weather, the temperatures have certainly been running a bit warmer than guidance, and you can see by Tuesday of next week up to 77. And we got to watch it around the middle of next week because we actually have another cold front that's going to move in from the north, but that may set off more storms, and there could be some strong to severe thunderstorms. I showed a map earlier, which basically what it does is it looks at the models and it compares the models to past setups in which we've had a same sort of model output, and it gives us an idea if this is kind of trending in the direction of some of the past guidance that we've had. And it indicates that next week around the middle of the week it's a recognizable signal, and we'll need to keep a watch on it for the risk of some stormy weather around Wednesday and Thursday as we go beyond the 7-day forecast. Just want to go to meteorologist Tania Michelle. And Tania, you know, for days now we've been talking about more rain around the middle of next week, but you know, yesterday we thought that this system may stall out around March 1st, but now it looks like it's going to move on through here.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things I wanted to point out, Wes, is that we do have some changes to our First Alert weather calendar, but that's one of the things about weather is that after you move about 48 hours out, things can and possibly will change. So there has been some changes that we've made. Of course, we have that rain chance on Thursday. That's February the 22nd. Looking dry for majority of your Friday and for the weekend. So get out and enjoy that good weather, guys. Next week, we start warm and dry, but we have that next system that's going to move through, which now looks like it's going to happen on Wednesday. This is February 28th, and Thursday, the last day of February, February the 29th. Now that can bring us the chance for some heavy rain, but also the possibility of storms. And we're paying very close attention to that period because there could be a possibility of a severe storm. So make sure you're checking in with us throughout the rest of this week and throughout the weekend, and as we approach next week as well, so you can get updates on that possible storm chance. But look at the rest of the month, and as we enter enter the start of March looking really nice. We're dry with temperatures back into the 70s, but here we are looking at Friday and Saturday and Sunday of next weekend, still looking very dry. And also as we start that first full weekend of March, lots of sunshine in the forecast. But it's so weird and funny to say that some of our models are indicating that 8 to 14 days out from now, we're actually going to be seeing above average rainfall. So notice that as we zoom in here for Alabama, we're in green. So there could be more chances of rain as we approach March 6th. So just keep checking in for forecast updates. Now, what about those temperatures, Tania? Here's a look at that 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. This is from February the 29th through March 6th. And it looks like we will continue to enjoy those above average temperatures. And you know what? I'm not mad at it. An early spring sounds fine to me. But as always, here on Weather Extra, we like to take an extra look at the environment and water conservation efforts out west and they're making some great changes. Jacqueline Schultz reports on how water levels rising at Lake Mead is an important but good change.
Doesn't look familiar at all anymore. Old Glory isn't waving in the wind anymore.
Millions of people tune into the Sin City Outdoors YouTube channel, created by father and son duo Adrian Montero Sr. and Jr. They've attracted quite the following by giving video tours of Lake Mead.
It's bow up. Oh my gosh.
And those abandoned boats. There is a boat down there if you look closely.
It's not. Oh my gosh. You're stuck and they're stuck.
It's this same upright vessel that captured national attention as the eyes of the country watched Lake Mead's levels shrink. Summer 2022, it hit a historic low of 1,040 feet. This week, it's now 35 feet higher.
It's really great to see Lake Mead on the mend. What it tells me is the conservation efforts are really working.
Professor Andrea Gerlach heads the Udall Center at the University of Arizona, working to help government and scientists collaborate to manage the Colorado River system. She says Lake Mead is on the mend only because of the water cuts approved by the feds last fall. Arizona, Nevada, and California agreed to cut back use by 3 million acre-feet through 2026. That equates to 977 billion gallons of water.
Every drop counts. Every little system conservation, any little effort, it adds up.
Our previous wet winter helped tremendously, but there will be no telling for months whether this winter will even help. Colorado climatologist Becky Bollinger of the Colorado Climate Center explains.
We need about 10 of those years to completely solve the Lake Mead and Lake Powell issues. And so that's definitely not going to happen. 92% of the water comes from the upper basin. This year so far doing okay. We're never going to get Lake Mead back to where it was.
Scientists forecast the Southwest will get hotter and drier in coming decades, so the only surefire way to preserve our lake levels is more conservation.
What we're missing is a long-term solution. Our behavior has an absolute direct impact on what those lake levels look like.
Well, one expert says it's important to note the rising water level as it shows conservation-based solutions are being a key tool to moving forward. We'll be right back, though, with more First Alert Weather Extra. Don't go anywhere.
Well, Lauren, Tania, always love checking that Twitter feed this time of day. And how about this view?
That is beautiful.
Love it.
Yeah, that is from Trussville. Matt sharing that with me on the Twitter feed there, but with those high clouds moving in. Just gotta love how it just really sets off those colors in the air.
Yes, that line of blue to the red. Oh, so peaceful.
Yeah, high clouds always make for a beautiful sunset if you got those around. And they're always friendly, right? They don't bother
They don't
you.
bother, yeah.
Not bringing
Not
rain
mad
or
at it.
storm. So, you know, you just do your thing, high
Hey, I
clouds.
smell a good explainer coming up for the a future First Alert Weather Extra show.
I like it.
Hey, 7-day forecast. We got that rain coming back tomorrow night. Not expecting any severe weather out of that, although we might get a rumble of thunder. We got to watch the middle of next week, but we'll have those updates tonight. Check in with us. We'll have more next, starting first at 9.
Have a great night.